Ryan Jarrell here for All Access MMA, and you know who my next guest is. Longtime MMA fighter and now one of the best coaches in the game. Dean Thomas is on the show. Dean, how are you, sir?
Good, man. I love the way you say my name, man. You say it as if, because sometimes people call me Din so much, it's uncomfortable the way they say my name, Dean. But it rolls like right off the tongue nicely for you. I love that.
I said it right, didn't I?
You said it right, but I'm just saying, like, it didn't sound uncomfortable, because some people saying it sounds uncomfortable, and I'm like, it's Dean. All right, so yeah, but I love it.
Okay, well, I try to do my best here, and I'm happy to have you on the show. I got to speak to you, geez, it was a few years ago now when you came up to Bangor, Maine looking for a fight, and you guys signed Devin Powell then, and now here you are, you fast forward, what is it, 4 or 5 years later, and things are going very well for you. Tell me, what has life been like since leaving ATT?
It's been good, man. Like, I've been doing a lot of things on my own, and I think at this point in my life, it's not even just a career move, but a life move, is that I want to be able to do things the way I want to be able to do them, and do them on my own, and just have the lifestyle that I want. And you know, the whole team atmosphere, like this big team, like that's, for me, that was like, that's who I was 10 years ago, and I'm not there no more. So I like doing my thing by myself, small, and just, you know, be around my people.
For sure. Are you having more fun now doing everything that you're doing? You're a man of many talents. You do a lot. Or did you have more fun when you were in your heyday, like fighting and going and, you know, beating Matt Serra and guys like that?
I'm having a lot more fun now. I mean, it's not even close. Like, I'm having a lot more fun now. You know, back then, you know, fighting was rough, man. Like, you know, I was broke all the time. I'm still broke, but like, I mean, I was really broke all the time back then. And you know, and I was in a darker place back then, because fighting, like, you have to be in a dark place to fight. Like something about you has to just be ready to kill or be killed. So now, like, everything I'm doing is just fun, and I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it.
Well, that's good to hear. I know one of your students, Gillian Robertson, has a fight coming up soon. She was supposed to fight Andrea Lee, but that fight got pulled. Lee has a broken nose, and now she's going to be fighting Talia Santos on December the 19th. How do you like this matchup?
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's kind of similar. So, like, that's the good thing. Like, the matchup is a little bit similar. I think Talia might be a little more dangerous in terms of, like, violence and just damage. I think Andrea Lee might have been better technically. They're both great athletes. But, you know, we're ready for the challenge. I mean, every fight is a challenge. You look at the problem, you analyze the problem, and you come up with solutions. And, because they were so similar, I didn't have a problem taking this fight, because they were so similar in terms of, you know, I think of intent and objective. But so I didn't have a problem with this fight. I think, you know, we're going to ride out. Me and Gillian going to ride out and just do what we do best.
What are some of the deciding factors when you have a short notice replacement fighter, and it might be a very different style, maybe a more dangerous style? Like, how do you factor in deciding whether to take the fight or not?
Well, with Gillian is a little bit different, because she'll fight anybody, and it doesn't matter. You know, she tries to compete every weekend. She's doing grappling tournaments like every weekend, and she's putting herself out there every weekend. So it doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of going, all right, this is what we have to do differently. But for most fighters, it does matter. It does matter for most fighters, and like, I wouldn't want to fight, like, be training, you know, 3 months for a short southpaw, and then the week of the fight, they go, all right, you're going to fight a tall, orthodox, lanky guy. Like, that, to me, would be a problem. That would be a real problem. But, you know, the fighters that I'm working with now, I'm trying to prepare them better, because I'm spending so much time with them. I'm trying to prepare them better where they can take those short notice fights and be able to make those adjustments. Like, even a guy like Greg Hardy, you know, he's so new in this game, but I think me and him have a relationship now that even if they change his opponent now, we can make the adjustments and be able to deal with it. But most fighters I can't do that with. But I think because I've spent so much time with my guys and girls that I think we can make those adjustments.
And Gillian is clearly a savage, hence the nickname. How do you see this fight ending? How do you see her getting her hand raised?
I'm not sure. Like, it's always, you know, we prepare for every situation. Like, we go through so many different scenarios and come up with so many different solutions to problems that I'm not sure how it's gonna play out. I mean, I know this girl's tough and she's dangerous. She's a great athlete, but, you know, we're gonna go out there and just do our thing, just from the moment the bell rings, and that's just put the fire out, put the fire out and put her away somehow. And, we've gotten many different ways to do it. It's just whichever one she going to drink her poison one way or the other.
How do you like coaching during these crazy pandemic times where there's not a big loud audience screaming? Like, I mean, I'm sure it's probably easier for you because you can communicate with the fighters, but does it take away from the experience a little bit?
No, because I've done the experience. Like, I think, if I was a new coach, I see some of these new coaches out there today, and I'm always thinking like, and they enjoy it for the experience. I don't, because I've been doing this since the mid 90s. So like, I've been going to shows since the mid 90s, and it's crazy. And so I don't enjoy it for the experience. So like, and I know this sounds bad and I don't want it to come off the wrong way, but like, the fans don't mean nothing to me at the fight. It's, in fact, to me, they're a distraction, and I prefer not to have them, like you said, so I can communicate with my fighter. And I don't think that it really brings out the best in my fighter when the fans are there. I think it brings out the worst, because it causes them to do things that they wouldn't normally do, causes them to step out of character to try and impress the fans and make bad decisions. So I don't enjoy the experience of the fight. I enjoy the experience of the competition. So that's what I'm there. I'm there for the competition, to compete. And we can do that in front of fans or without fans. But they distract the fighter a bit. I will say that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. How has COVID affected your ability to do everything you need to do as a coach and train your fighters? And I know you actually got COVID back it was a couple months ago anyways. Tell me a little bit about what that was like.
I mean, I think it wouldn't be much different. I like the lifestyle that I'm doing, the way I'm doing my training now, where it's small. I got a couple people that I'm working with. The only thing I don't like about COVID is that everybody else is doing that too. And I see the benefit that I'm getting and that my fighters are getting. I see the benefit. So now I'm like, man, everybody else is getting this benefit now, this training like this, this private one-on-one training with, coach and fighter. Like, I feel like my fighters are getting so much better, and we're building so much better relationships, and we're having good chemistry. That the only negative thing for me is that other people are doing it because of COVID, but they're still getting the benefit. For me, I'm doing it because this is the way I want to train. If I say there's another downside to it, is that we don't have the same access to just random sparring partners. We got to be careful with the people we train with. I mean, if you look at all the UFC cards now, a lot of fights have been canceled because fighters, you have to train with people, and you can't regulate everybody's life and make sure that they're doing the right thing, wearing a mask, washing their hands, and all that stuff. So that's the only other downside to it, is that we have to just stick with our, training partners that we can trust.
Absolutely. A lot of people that actually contract the virus are asymptomatic. How did it affect you?
I wouldn't say I was asymptomatic, but it wasn't bad for me. And I don't know if it was because for months prior, I had been pumping vitamin D and C, because I heard like that was the thing, pump a lot. So I had been pumping that. And then when I got it, my symptoms weren't that bad. They were very minor. I had some headaches and some stuffy noses. And the worst part, and it wasn't even the worst part, it might have been the best part, was that I lost my smell and taste. So losing my taste, like I could eat anything and it didn't matter. So like that was kind of good. Like I could eat garbage and it didn't matter. Losing my smell was kind of good too, because like I was stuck in a hotel room, so like I didn't have to shower. I couldn't smell myself. So like I went like 4 days without showering because I couldn't smell myself. So I was like, it wasn't that bad for me.
Hopefully you didn't have anyone else around you.
No. In fact, so like I would order food every day, or I have a problem with Amazon Prime. So like I would order Amazon Prime every day, and they would come knock on my door, throw it on the floor, and run. Like COVID back then was a lot worse. It seemed like it was a lot worse than it is now, even though now it's probably more dangerous than it's ever been. Back then, it was like such a taboo thing to have. Now, like everybody's getting it, but back then, like I was one of the first, so like everybody was running from me.
What's the vice on Amazon Prime? Are you ordering something specific, or are you just kind of like scrolling through, being like, "Oh, that looks good. I'm gonna get that."
I got really big into like arts and crafts too. Like that's another thing I've been doing. So like, I'm always on that. Like at that time I was like coloring a lot. So I was like ordering coloring books and colored pencils now I'm doing a lot of painting, like, and making candles. So like every day I'm like ordering like acrylic paint and more wax and lavender and stuff. So yeah, I'm really into this goofy stuff.
Well, I know you're a pretty artistic guy. I mean, you're embarking on an acting career. You have a journal that you make sure that you write in every day. Just tell me what some of your goals are with that.
I'm an artist, man, and like, and I say that proudly, is that I'm an artist before anything else. Like, well, first I'm a human being, then secondly I'm an artist. So I like to express myself, and I like to do it judge free, which is why like I've created this environment here where in my house it'd be called a firm, and it's a judgment free zone. So like when people come over, I make everybody do art. It's like, hey, grab a cup and a couple of these and some paint and make some art, and I make everybody do it when they come over here. And it's judge free, I don't be like, oh man, that sucks, because I like people to express themselves. So for me, I just love to express myself artistically and to create, whether it's good or bad, because that's all, opinion. It's all up to your opinion. But I love to create. And I love to just freely express myself, and it comes out. And, as a fighter, I was like that, until I think I got kind of trapped in a box. But early in my career, I was very artistic. And then now I'm living my life as an artist, and that's just what I'm going to do. So I love it.
Yeah, that's great to hear. As far as like acting goes, is there a certain type of genre that you like? I could have sworn I saw back in the day you did like I say back in the day, I don't think it was even that long ago, but you did like a Stephen A. Smith impersonation, or you're doing something like that. Am I wrong here?
Yeah, no. So like on Instagram, I do mostly like, comedic stuff on Instagram, because it's, the attention span of people on Instagram is very small. So you try to do funny stuff or goofy stuff on Instagram. And that's just fun. But again, it's just self-expression. I just do that to just work on that creative muscle. But we just shot a short film, me and Eve Edwards and Rashad Evans. We just did a short film. We just wrapped it the other day. In fact, I got a scar here from it doing this film. But it's a drama, and that's what I like to do mostly. I like to do drama. I like to do comedy for social media, but on film, I like to do drama because I like to make people feel and make people think about things that they don't maybe not normally think about. And I like to really make them feel and be vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And I think I do that because I wasn't always that way. I wasn't always vulnerable and able to feel. And now, as an actor who likes to express himself, I want to give permission to other people to be able to feel and be vulnerable. So as an actor, that's my goal.
Yeah, that's very cool. What's the name of the film? When does it come out?
It's called Brotherhood. I'm not sure when it's going to come out. I'm hoping that they can. It's a short film, so the post-production shouldn't be too strenuous, but hopefully they can do it by, sometime early the first part of the year. So, but I'm sure that once it comes out, it's pretty powerful. At least it was in the script. I hope our performances can deliver, but it's pretty powerful, and I know that everybody's going to enjoy it.
Cool. I can't wait to check it out. I'll make sure to be on the lookout for that. I also got to ask you about my guy. I know he's more your guy than my guy, but I can't help but like this guy. Every time I talk to him, he's just a joy to speak with. Of course, I'm talking about Jose Shorty Torres. He most recently had a majority draw against Sean Santella. Were you there cornering him? I don't think you were, right? Because it was in a different part of the world. But just tell me how he's doing now.
He's good. He's here. He lives with me, so he's good. And we've built a relationship now where we're making it work, and I'm going to make him the best he can be, and he's going to make himself the best he can be, and that's the relationship that we have. Yeah, man, he's doing really well. That fight with Sean Santella, I wasn't there. I think I was filming, looking forward to a fight or something during that time, but I wasn't there. I felt kind of bad, but I just. The thing with Brave, man, is they change them dates so often. Like, it's like they got a fight and then they push you back and they push you back. And it just happened to be one of the weeks I had to work and I couldn't make it. But Sean fought a great fight that night. And I thought Shorty was lucky to get a draw out of that. I mean, it was more, it was a 10-8 round in that third, but, I thought Sean had a good 2 rounds in the beginning, but then Shorty was lucky to get a draw out of that to really come back. But the next time is going to be a little different. I'm definitely going with Shorty, and it's going to be a little different.
What do you anticipate as far as his future goes? Do you feel like there's a solid chance that maybe he can climb back and get into the UFC?
Well, I don't even think that's what he wants. I know he's happy where he's at. He's happy with Brave, and he's proud to represent Brave, and that's good for him. There needs to be other organizations like Brave that can take care of guys, because the UFC is the number one organization in the world by far, the most organized, the best organization to be with. The guys complain, and not most guys don't even complain about it. The media complains about it, but I'm here to tell you right now, the UFC is the best organization to be. But if you can get with another organization that treats you well, that pays you well, then that's the place to be for you. I would tell anybody, if you can get with an organization that's going to pay you well and treat you good, you might want to be there even over the UFC sometimes, because the UFC is the best organization in the world, but that doesn't mean that that's the best place for everybody. It's not the best place for everybody.
That's a really great point. Sometimes you don't look at it like that, but that makes a lot of sense. I have to ask you about T. Wood. He's always been one of my favorite fighters to watch. Longtime champion, most recently lost to Colby Covington. When you look at where he's at right now in his career, I mean, do you feel like is there a mental thing that's going on with him, maybe where he's not focused like he was once before? Or what are we seeing here? Because I'm not used to seeing him not, go out there and not finish guys. And there's been a difference, obviously, in his last few fights.
It's tough, because Tyron's not. He didn't come up as a natural fighter. Like you got guys like Dustin Poirier, Gaethje. Like they'll die. They will die in a cage. Tyron isn't like that. Like Tyron is a great athlete, and he was very good at fighting, but he wasn't a natural fighter. So that now that he's a little bit older, he lost some of his athleticism. When you fight at this age and been doing it for so long, you have to be a fighter, and because that's what you rely on. Because when you lose some of your athleticism and your killer instinct, you have to have something to hang on to, and that's normally the fighter in you. And because he's not a fighter, he's having a hard time finding that switch. So he can't just go get in the side of a cage and be like, "I'm going to eat your soul today," because that's not his personality. I mean, he's like a really good dude. Like he's a family man. So it's hard for him to find that switch. And now that he's not the competitor that he was, just kind of burnt out from it, that it's harder for him to find that switch. So he's got some soul searching to do to be able to find that.
Well, hopefully we'll see him back in top form here at some point here very, very soon. Now, I got to ask you about looking for a fight. I saw recently that you're doing the Dean Diaries. You went out to Abu Dhabi. I really enjoyed that. Is there going to be a second episode of the Dean Diaries coming soon?
I didn't know if they were going to give me another opportunity to do that, because everything's a numbers game, and I don't know how well it did in the numbers. I don't think it did that well in the numbers, but they gave me another opportunity to do it. And I just shot another episode, and I went to Wonder Boys Academy in South Carolina. So that should be out probably next week. I thought it would have came out this week, but it's probably going to be out next week. So yeah, definitely check that out, and hopefully my views could go up on that. People can see that it's something that just is real. It's serious and it's real, and I'm having a good time. But yeah, I appreciate UFC for giving me another opportunity to get out there and do it. Get out there and show everybody what I do on a daily basis.
Absolutely. I loved it. So I can't wait to watch this second episode. Will there be looking for a fight coming back, or is that something that we're just going to have to wait for the world to open back up and the pandemic to kind of go away before you guys can actually do something like that?
Like, looking for a fight might be tough. Looking forward to a fight is probably going to be more realistic to do, because when there are these bigger cards, Dana, they need more. That's the way they promote them. It's just one of the ways they promote these bigger cards is looking forward to a fight, and they have me and Matt go out and do a bunch of dumb stuff, and people watch it, and we can talk about the fight in the process. Looking for a fight where we're looking for new talent might be a little bit more difficult to do because of the current state of the world. Plus, the Contender Series is just killing it right now. It really is just killing it right now. With the Contender Series finding such strong talent, there's no real need for looking for a fight. As much as I love to do it, there's just not a need for it.
Yeah.
Contender series. So hopefully they can utilize me and Matt to do looking forward to a fight, which is just as good. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's great to hear. What is it like hanging out with Matt and Dana? I mean, it looks like it would just be an absolute, great time. You guys, the three of you together, it's great TV.
Yeah, we have a really good relationship. I mean, we do. We're all different personalities, but we click. And I don't know if there's three people. It's hard to find three people that can click like that. Normally it's like two is the magic number but when you can find three people that can click like that and all play their role, and that's really what it is that we all know our roles and no one steps on each other's toes. Dana's the boss, Matt is the crazy dude, and I'm kind of the guy in the middle. and it just works out that we have this relationship and we have such a strong relationship with each other. And yeah, and I don't know if you could find a trio like that can have a relationship like that. Like, Bisping came on, and I know Bisping, had a good episode and he did his thing, but like, I just don't know if he could sustain that, like with those personalities. I mean, like Nick the Tooth couldn't do it, and he was Dana's longtime friend. But me, Matt, and Dana, we all have a healthy respect for each other and a good relationship that we can make it work.
Do you ever remind Matt, say, hey, remember 2003? Do you remember what happened? You ever kind of give him a hard time about that?
Yeah, because I had a tattoo on my arm. But I try not to, because he's always like, you remember I got you on this show, right? He always reminds me of that he got me on Looking for a Fight. So that trumps me beating him, to be honest with you.
Okay, well, fair enough. When do you guys leave for Vegas? I got to imagine it's going to be in the next few days.
Yeah, we leave next Tuesday. So instead of leaving today, which was what we were supposed to do to fight Andrea Lee, we're leaving next Tuesday. So I got my hands full next weekend because I got Gillian fighting Talia Santos, and then I got Greg Hardy fighting Marcin Tybura. So Marcin Tybura. Yeah, I got my hands full, man. But these are the type of nights that I like, where you go to work, man. It's like you go to work, and I'm serious about that. Like I'm very passionate about my job in terms of my fighters doing well. And again, like, there's no fans to like distract me. Like, that's really what I would be nervous about. Like, oh man, the fans are gonna be booing and yelling at us, that, and the third. But now I go out there and it's just us versus them, and that's what I like. I like that competition.
How's Hardy looking, and what's that evolution been like? I mean, clearly he's an elite athlete. How much have you seen him progress during your time working with him?
Oh, he progresses every day. It's crazy. Like, he really does progress every day. And we just got a gem. Like, I've been working with Greg since the beginning of his MMA career, but not the whole time because of things with Top Team, and just it's been hard, like, to get a hold of him the whole time. But right now, we got a new gem in camp, and that's Rashad Evans. Like, Rashad Evans just came in and trains Greg when I'm not around. Most of the time. So like, I'm kind of the second guy in charge now. Like, Rashad is the guy in charge now. So and Rashad is great, man. He's a former champ. He knows what he's doing. He's been around for a long time. Super smart and intelligent. And me and Rashad get along. Like, we have a lot of parallel thinking. So it works out. Again, like, I love working with Rashad in terms of dealing with Greg. So I love the situation.
That's great to hear. Well, I'm very happy that everything is going smooth for you, and you clearly have a top-notch team around you. I very much appreciate you taking the time to join me here this evening. Before I let you go, if you want to plug anything or tell people where to find you on social media, the floor is yours.
Well, find me on Dean Thomas. Everything is Dean Thomas, but it's spelled D-I-N Thomas. So if you need to remember as Din Thomas, do that. But just find me on social media, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not on Facebook no more. I can't deal with Facebook anymore, but Twitter, Instagram, find me on there. And then when my movie comes out, I got a couple things. So my movie come out, Brotherhoods. Make sure y'all check that out. Then also BJJ Fanatics. I just came out with my BJJ for MMA instructional. So go to BJJ Fanatics to find that. And it's relatively cheap too for all the information I gave. I didn't know they were selling it so cheap. I feel like a cheap whore. No, I know I don't, but I'm giving away this information. Like, this information, BJJ for MMA, it's prime information. So check that out.
Very cool. Thank you again for the time, sir. Safe travels to Vegas, and hopefully we'll be chatting again soon.
Thank you. My man. I'll talk to you soon.